breaking up the nuggets to come, right? Last day events, trying to talk about a little glimpse of what heaven may look like and have in there. What visions Ellen G. White had from the last day events regarding heaven? The vigor of eternal youth. All come forth from their graves the same in stature as when they entered the tomb. Let's hear this, right? All come forth from their graves the same in stature as when they entered the tomb. Adam, who stands among the risen throng, is of so lofty height and majestic form, in stature but little below the Son of God. He presents a marked contrast to the people of the latter generations. In this one respect is shown the great degeneracy of the race, meaning that we'll see kind of like in like size order, the tallest to the smallest of how we have changed over life. And Jesus is even bigger than that. I heard Adam is about 18 feet tall. So imagine how big Jesus is. Heaven is big. Let's see this. Let's see, yeah? But all arise with the freshness and vigor of eternal youth, restored to the tree of life in the long-lost Eden. The redeemed will grow up, Malachi 4 verse 2, to the full stature of a race in its primal glory. Because someone asked me, well, how big would we get? Will we stop in the 20s, 30s, 40s, according to our equivalent, right? Will we stop at all? I don't know. And I'm like, I'm just waiting to see. I'm like, what I got to lose, right? What we got to lose? I just want to get bigger. I want to see the kids grow up and grow and take time. How long will it take to grow up? I don't know. Let's see what he says. If Adam at his creation had not been endowed with 20 times as much vital force as men now have, 20 times the vital force, the race, with their present habits of living in violation of natural law, would have become extinct. Wow. Adam was endowed with 20 times the vital force. Wow. None will need or desire repose, like to rest, and tired and fatigued. There will be no weariness in doing the will of God and the offering praise to his name. We shall ever feel the freshness of the morning and shall ever be far from its close. Meaning that it's only going to be beautiful forever. The acquirement of knowledge will not weary the mind or exhaust the energies. Like doing this stuff now, I won't be tired, my stomach won't be growling and going, I need to rest. We'll be keep going and going and going and going and going forever and ever and ever and just enjoying it forevermore. I can only imagine. Even the most intimate of actions and stuff in the world, even the most highest of drugs and everything people have done in the world, cannot match what God has prepared. Just letting you know. God is telling us, you can't even conceive what I have made in mind for you. Heaven is all health. Happiness, I'm going to say intimate, I mean with your wife and your husband, okay? Have at it. Happiness guaranteed. Jesus lifted the veil from the future life. In the resurrection, he said, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. Now, this one I had a lot of questions on, and maybe we'll get some answers about this, because I'm like, you have a husband and wife now? Doesn't that sound kind of sad and depressing? You have no husband and wife then in the future? I'm not satisfied with the answer I've gotten so far in reading. As I said, the Bible leaves room for doubt and question. So I'm like, I want to see what she says. I want to see what the truth is. I mean, honestly, but I think it'd be better than what we have now. Divorce and fighting and rumbling every time. There has to be a better way. Let's see what it has here. There are men today, right? There are men today who express their belief that there will be marriages and births in the new earth. But those who believe the scriptures cannot accept such doctrines. The doctrine that children will be born in a new earth is not a part of the sure word of prophecy. Okay? I know it's kind of saddened to hear this, but let's see what it says. It says happiness guaranteed. That's a banner, right? It is presumption to indulge in superstitions and theories regarding matters that God has not made known to us in his word. You know, we don't know, so we're not to go thinking like that. We're not to go surmising and making things. We need not enter into speculation regarding our future state. She says, just hold off and wait and let's see what happens. But we like to know what's going to happen. Like, where am I going to go? What's the destination? Like taking a trip. Put it in the GPS. Sometimes we don't know until we see. Workers for God should not spend time speculating as to what conditions will prevail in the new earth. It is presumption to indulge in superstitions and theories regarding matters that the Lord has not revealed. He has made every provision for our happiness in the future life, and we are not to speculate regarding his plans for us. Neither are we to measure the conditions of the future life by the conditions of this life. In other words, we cannot base it upon what we experience in this life now. Okay? I mean, we see some good things happening here and there, right? Right, Mr. Liz, are you listening to me too? Right? But we see those things happen and we say, well, okay. Like we know we're going to a destination, we go to, what, Ponce Cana, I mean, what is this place? What's some of these nice Caribbean islands? You know, the Bahamas and all these places. Puerto Rico, the DR, PR, I mean, Mexico, all these different places we hear about. The Fiji Islands, the Turks and Caicos, all these different things. But even then they have crime and violence in some parts too. Even the best cruise ships, best cruise liners, all these different things have their limitations. We're saying, according to what the Bible is saying, wait, just, we don't need to know everything right away. It's okay to wait. It's okay to wait. There's a reason why. He has something planned. Here, identity of the redeemed preserved. Let's work at what we do have preserved before us, and let's wait until we hear the rest of it. Because many times people try to go and jump ahead of God and get themselves in trouble. Like they have some new forbidden knowledge that God didn't give to us. Like Satan told them, did God really say such and such and such? And then we get ourselves in trouble. So let's wait. But we're not as Disney puts us, as damn babies. They don't know. So this fat, lazy babies up there getting weight, and people living in chairs getting obese and not focusing, like you see in the movie Wall-E, that's not of God. The resurrection of Jesus was a type of the final resurrection of all who sleep in him, those who died in Christ, right? The countenance of the risen Savior, his manner, his speech were all familiar to his disciples. As Jesus arose from the dead, so those who sleep in him are to rise again. We shall know our friends, even as the disciples knew Jesus. They may have been deformed, diseased, or disfigured in this mortal life, but they arise in perfect health and symmetry. Yet in the glorified body, their identity will be perfectly preserved. Means, though we may die, or though we may be alive when Christ comes and think this is how it is, our minds will be the same, but our bodies are going to be changed. So nobody will have any deformity or blemish or any kind of, say, handicap anymore. Things are going to change. We'll have the same mindset as we have, so we can think and be as each other, as we are right now, to converse with each other in a more lofty and heavenly way, when we have purified and got ourselves out of sin and been sanctified for God, according to his will and glory, right? The same form will come forth, but it will be free from disease and every defect. It lives again, bearing the same individuality of features, so that friend will recognize friend. So these are good news. You will know your people. You guys don't have amnesia. No more amnesia, no more dementia, no more all that stuff, no more dysphagia and all this stuff, can't swallow, can't eat, can't think. No more this stuff. People wandering, all that. No, we'll know. There we shall know, even as we also are known. There the loves and sympathies that God has planted in the soul will find truest and sweetest exercise. All those emotions will get their best exercise. A ruddy complexion and a robe of light. Let's hear this. As Adam came forth from the hand of his creator, he was of noble height and of a beautiful symmetry. He was more than twice as tall as men now live upon earth, and as well proportioned. His features were perfect and beautiful. His complexion was neither white nor sallow, but ruddy, glowing with the rich tint of health. Eve was not quite as tall as Adam. Her head reached a little above his shoulders. She too was noble, perfect in symmetry, and very beautiful. This is how vision she's seen. God has given us some good stuff here. The sinless pair wore no artificial garments. They were clothed with a covering of light and glory, such as the angels wear. So long as they lived in obedience to God, this robe of light continued to enshroud them. So, they were naked. No, they were naked according to what devil did to them, and because they saw their shame, but they're clothed with robes of light. The joy of seeing our family in heaven. We see a retinue of angels on either side of the gate. And as they pass in, Jesus speaks, "Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom that is prepared for you from the foundation of the world." Here, he tells you to be a partaker of his joy. And what is that? It is the joy of seeing of the travail of our soul. Fathers, you're seeing everything. It is the joy of seeing that your efforts, mothers, are rewarded. So he's saying, fathers and mothers, don't you love this when your children are well and everything's wonderful with them? Like this little one, don't you love to see everything going great for you, little fathers and mothers? Come on, Lizard, come on, get in the focus. It's too dark right now. A tiny lizard, so small. It's getting darker, that's why it's hard to see now. But God is saying, I have good plans for you guys. It says here, it is the joy of seeing that your efforts, mothers, are rewarded. Here are your children. The crown of life is upon their heads. That we wish to see. Please, Lord, save them all. God's greatest gift is Christ, whose life is ours, given for us. He died for us and was raised for us, that we might come forth from the tomb to a glorious companionship with heavenly angels, to meet our loved ones, and to recognize their faces. For the Christ-like likeness does not destroy their image, but transforms it into his glorious image. Every saint connected in family relationship here will know each other there. So, we will know each other again. The salvation of infants and imbeciles. Listen to this word. The salvation of infants and imbeciles. Those who are born, say, maybe deformed, or those who maybe have like Down syndrome, or those who maybe have like a kind of autism or kind of mental deformity. There's hope for them too. What God says, as the little infants come forth, immortal from their dusty beds, they immediately wing their way to their mother's arms. They immediately wing their way. Would it be most likely to be angels, right? They meet again, never more to part. But many of the little ones have no mother there. We listen in vain for the rapturous song of triumph from the mother. Where's the mother? Some moms that have children are not there. The angels receive the motherless infants and conduct them to the tree of life. Because remember, people say, well, when the children die because of the sins of the parents, there are many parents who will not be there, but the children will be saved. That's going to be weird, a very heartbreaking situation to see. Could you imagine that you may make it and your family may not make it? Or we may make it and family doesn't. I want to be with among everybody, so please let us all be there together so we can say, remember those videos you made? Remember those things you talked about? Remember those things you read together? So please, let's see. Some question whether the little children of even believing parents should be saved because they have had no rest of character and all must be tested and their character determined by trial. The question is asked, how can little children have this test and trial? I answer that the faith of the believing parents covers the children, as when God sends his judgments upon the firstborn of the Egyptians. Whether all the children of the unbelieving parents will be saved, we cannot tell, because God has not made known his purposes in regard to that matter. And we had better leave it where God has left it and dwell upon subjects made more plain in his word. So let's stick with what God has given us. In regard to the case of A name, she's just given a name, you see him as now is and deploy his simplicity. He's almost answering somebody. He's without the consciousness of sin, like a baby A. The grace of God will remove all this hereditary transmitted imbecility, and he will have an inheritance among the saints in light. To you, the Lord has given reason. A, the name of the A of the child, is a child as far as capacity of reason is concerned, but he has a submission and obedience of a child. So in other words, what will happen to these children? Only God knows. What he says, when the judgment shall tribute to faithful mothers, when the judgment shall sit and the book shall be opened, when the well done of the great judge is pronounced, and the crown of immortal glory is placed upon the brow of the victor, many will raise their crowns in sight of the assembled universe, and pointing to their mother, say, she made me all I am through the grace of God. Her instruction, her prayers have been blessed to my eternal salvation. I think this is MYP, messages to young parents and young people. MYP is what? MYP is it here? Messages to young people, yeah, 294. So I'm saying there are a lot of good things here God has planned for us, and so we have to take it to heart, not to give up on it, okay? Next video.